Where do we begin? Birds of Prey was a TV show that was on the WB network. It aired in 2002, and I just got done for the first time watching this series. And man, is this show bad. But the premise is we meet the Huntress. Huntress is the daughter of Catwoman and Batman. And she didn't know that she was Batman's daughter until he had already left Gotham. So now she's partnered up with Barbara Gordon, who is technically Oracle now. And she's fighting crime in the streets of New Gotham. And the main villain is Harley Quinn. Now, let me get to some stuff that I actually enjoyed about the show. I like the premise of 3 lead females as the hero. You have the Huntress, you have Barbara Gordon, who is paralyzed, so she's a strong, smart character, and you have Dina Lance. So again, 3 lead females. It's a good idea for a superhero show. Dina Meyers as Barbara Gordon, I love her as Barbara Gordon. I think she's a great casting choice. She's the best casting choice on this show. She's the best actress on this show. I love the moments of you see flashbacks of her as Batgirl in costume. She looks great. And then seeing her as Oracle. Actually, possibly my favorite episode of the season was called Lady Shiva. And that dealt a lot with Batgirl. Just her sort of missing the costume or missing having the chance to be out there and physically do anything. She feels hopeless. Watchtower, I like the way Watchtower looked. They called it Clock Tower, but still. I like the way it looked. It might have looked too small in some scenes. And you had Alfred on the show, and that was refreshing. That was cool. I didn't mind the actor. And he brought at least enough connection to the Batman mythology. The bad. The Huntress is a bitch. I'm sorry. I don't even think it's really anything against Ashley Scott, the actress. I think she was okay in the role. But the character was written so poorly. From the pilot alone, she's complaining about being a vigilante. She's complaining that she doesn't have a social life. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She doesn't get paid to do this. She doesn't... Like, she just keeps complaining over and over again. And it's like, what the fuck? If you don't want to do this, then don't do this. And even Barbara Gordon says, if you want to leave, then leave. But you know you keep coming back to this. You know this is in your blood. So basically stop fucking complaining about it. Also, the fact that she doesn't wear a mask. I can't stress enough how dumb this is. She just literally goes out and fights crime on the streets without a mask. And it's like, what about your identity? What about criminals knowing who you are? They've seen your face. I don't understand how... I just don't get the logic behind this. And even when Barbara says to her, why don't you just wear a mask? It's for protection. It's for this and for that. And her reason is, oh, it's itchy. Or it doesn't look good for my style. I'm like, you fucking bitch. Alright, her love relationship with this cop, this detective, I get that. I didn't mind her having maybe a Gordon-like character, somebody on the force to help her, but I just didn't really understand why they liked each other. It just seemed like they only liked each other because they were the 2 lead opposites of the show. And it's like, okay, of course they're supposed to fall in love. And the whole him trying to figure out who she is. He tries to get her to tell him her name. She won't do it. She keeps saying you haven't earned it yet. But it's like, dude, you've seen her without her mask. Why can't you just look it up? Why can't you just figure it out? Speaking of love relationships, Barbara starts dating this teacher. And it's not like I minded her having a relationship, but I almost would have rather have had maybe something of a past with her and Dick Grayson. I know that's reaching from the comic books, and I know that the show obviously wasn't going in that direction, but I would have loved to have it to where maybe mostly have the show be about Huntress and her cop, that relationship. and then let's do one episode where Dick Grayson shows up. And as much as I liked Alfred being on the show, he has a moment where he lets Barbara's boyfriend into the Watchtower. And I'm like, what, so we're doing Batman 89 all over again when Alfred let Vicky Vale into the Batcave? It was fucked up back then, back in 1989. What makes you think 2002 it's all of a sudden going to be the best idea, Alfred? God damn it. Harley Quinn as the main villain. Now, I like the idea of them having Harley Quinn as the villain because, again, you have every major character on the show a female. So, again, refreshing. But this isn't Harley Quinn. You have Harleen Quinzel as the Huntress's therapist. So the scenes of them talking and her trying to open up to her, yada yada, okay, you could have made that interesting, but then it's revealed that Harley Quinn is the main villain, that she's trying to get revenge on what happened to the Joker. She was in love with the Joker. And I'm sitting there like, okay, if that's happened, if she was with the Joker, if all that history exists, then how is she able to just go back to being a therapist? She has her own office. How can that happen and nobody knows who she is? I'm pretty sure Barbara Gordon should know that Harley Quinn is a villain. I'm pretty sure Batman knew it. Everyone knew that she was a psychiatrist who went crazy and joined with the Joker. So how is she just all of a sudden now able to go back to psychiatry? They mention the fact that, like Harley Quinn, she'll be talking to people that she's hired, and they'll say out loud that they're supervillains. They'll proclaim, I'm a supervillain. You're acknowledging the fact that you're a supervillain. Or the Huntress will have moments where she's like, oh, we're superheroes. There's a moment where you think Huntress is in trouble, and Dina says something to Alfred, and Alfred goes, don't worry, she's a superhero. She'll be okay. What? Great way to make me feel any sort of fear for your characters. That's not going to happen. Horrible CGI, sure, that's to be expected. It's a 2002 TV show, so yeah, you're not going to have great special effects. But this CGI is horrible. It looks like PlayStation 1 graphics. And that's pretty bad. Whenever they had a wide shot of Gotham, it looked so horrible. They could have done better than that. The stunts, there was some moments where I thought the fighting and the stunts were pretty good. But then there were other moments where they would do almost close-ups of the stunt actors, and you can clearly tell it's not the actors doing the fighting. And it's not like I'm surprised, but guys, could you have done at least a better job trying to edit around that? I guess not. Possibly the worst sin that this show committed is the explanation of Batman not being around. They have the whole, like the pilot. 7 years ago, the last confrontation between Batman and the Joker, and after the Joker got away, he killed Selina Kyle, Huntress's mom, and then he went to Barbara Gordon's apartment and shot her, and that's how Barbara became paralyzed. And, okay, so Batman, he sees that Selina Kyle was murdered. He sees that Batgirl is paralyzed, and he ups and leaves. Really? Batman just ups and leaves because the Joker did this to him. This doesn't sound like the Batman I know. And then the very last episode, it ends with Alfred calling Bruce Wayne on the phone saying, oh, don't worry, your daughter's fine. So it's like he knows about his daughter at this point. He knows that she's a vigilante fighting crime and he's just going to stay away? Wow, Bruce. You guys just made Bruce Wayne fuck. Alright, here are some things that don't piss me off, but I'm just still confused about. There's an episode where a cop who transfers from Bloodhaven, he comes in, and the show has all of these metahumans. It's people with superpowers, basically. Some of them are evil, some of them, yeah. This cop, who I guess is also a metahuman, but his power is that he can sense where other metahumans are around, and he can steal their powers, and he uses that to kill them. And I thought this was an interesting character because he was a cop himself. He was in the Gotham police stations, and he didn't think that there was such thing as a good metahuman. So I thought a character like that could have been played out for a few more episodes, but no, he dies at the end of the one episode. Wow. Or how about the lead cop that Huntress is in love with? This cop is telling him about how 7 years ago there was a guy who dressed up like a bat and he fought crime. And this other cop is laughing at that idea. He's like, really? I'm supposed to believe that there was a guy named Batman running around fighting crime? And I'm like, 7 years ago isn't that long ago. You never heard of Batman? You're a cop. You're not aware of Batman? Really? Really? Dina Lance, I know her as Black Canary, but here they have her with so many multiple powers. Not only will they hint that she might have the canary cry, but she has telekinesis. She can, if she touches people, she can see their memories or the future. And I'm like, wow, I don't remember Dina Lance having all of these powers. Okay. And my last thing is, what happened to the Joker? I know that Harley Quinn wants revenge for the Joker, but they never said what happened to him. And you could say, oh, well, the show was canceled, so they never got that far. I guess. But the last episode, it seemed like everything that was going on with Harley was resolved, so they at least knew that the show was coming to an abrupt end. They've wrapped everything up. I don't know. I'd say that the last couple episodes got a little better. It got a little more serious in tone. I liked the episodes more when it dealt with Barbara Gordon, and even the times where she was developing this mechanical device that was enabling her to walk, albeit for a couple hours, but that was interesting. But everything else was just so piss poor. Such lazy writing. So many jokes that fall flat and are just borderline almost as bad as that Batman and Robin movie. In fact, it's worse. Because at least the corniness and the cheap jokes from Batman and Robin, at least that makes me laugh. At least that entertains me. Here, it's pretty painful. I will say that we needed a show like this to be as bad as it was, because look at how many good superhero TV shows that we have now. We have Arrow, we're going to get The Flash, we're going to get Gotham. I hope that's good. So again, sometimes we need to fall before we can learn to pick ourselves back up. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Birds of Prey? Did you think it was as bad as I thought it was? What a waste of time. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!